Now I bet the majority of this class has either grown up with a pet or in some sort of fashion has had a pet in their lifetime. American Veterinary Medical Association states that the actual number is 71.5% of households have some sort of animal, whether it be a dog, cat, fish, whatever the case may be. Now I've had two dogs. First dog on my right is my current dog. He's a Tibetan Terrier. The dog on the left is named Indy. I got him when I was at FSU from a shelter. Now the shelter I went to get him actually did put dogs down or euthanize. Now I knew a lot of shelters have done this, but at the time I didn't really think much about it until it was actually hit me dead in the face. Now I was happy at the time to get a new dog, but at the same time when I went to bed at night I couldn't help but think all the dogs I didn't help adopt or save had a high chance of being euthanized or put down. It was at that point I knew I needed to get involved. That's when I became aware of the Animal Rescue Foundation and what they do to provide more no-kill facilities. Now it's easy to become numb to death because of how much we see of it on TV. But let me help you become more familiar with the need to help these animals and what it's going to take and why. Now I know many of you might see abandoned animals on the side of the road and want to call Animal Rescue to have them come picked up and sent to shelters. Well, unfortunately, that might not be a good idea. Many of these animals unfortunately get euthanized after a period of time if they do not get adopted. Now Merriam-Webster states that euthanization is the act of killing someone who is sick or injured. Now unfortunately many of these dogs that do get euthanized, in my opinion, aren't sick or injured. They just don't have a happy home to go to. The Humane Society actually puts the number at an animal is put down every 11 seconds. Now that adds up to be about 2.7 million animals annually. Now unfortunately many of these shelters do get a bad rap, and you might think some of the people that work there look forward to putting these animals down or have a bad heart. However, it's the opposite. Many people that do work in these animal shelters want to see the changes that we can make here today, and do have a problem with putting these dogs down and put everything that they can to find these dogs and animals a happy home. The problem they run into though is supply versus demand. Unfortunately, many animals are being put into these shelters that can't be cared for. Again, the demand is that many people want to buy purebloods or dogs with papers and not pick up these animals from shelters to be rescued. Now, animal welfare states that the majority of these shelters do operate on a 72-hour rule. Now, what that 72-hour rule means is that a shelter by law cannot put down any animals within 72 hours. This is basically to make sure that if an owner has an animal that runs away, it gives them ample time to make sure their animal can be recovered. Now, unfortunately, the reason a lot of these animals have to be put down is to make room for other animals that come into the shelter. Because what basically has to happen is animals who are younger have a higher chance of adoption. So a lot of times when animals are older or sickly or aggressive, they're the first in lines to be put down. Now Putnam County Animal Shelter actually had 11 animals killed just last week because of overcrowding. Clay County Shelter also operates on the same initiative. And again, Animal Rescue Foundation helps provide for no-kill shelters. Now that you know what travesties go on inside these shelters, let me show you an organization that can help animals avoid these shelters. Again, that is Animal Rescue Foundation. According to their website, they've actually helped save over 700 animals just last year. And that's not just by providing them with shelter in their own shelters. That's actually finding 700 different animals' families to go home to and be loved. Now one of the reasons I chose Animal Rescue Foundation, it was actually founded by Tony La Russa. Now if you guys have heard that name recently in the news, it's because he was just recently this year inducted in the Baseball Hall of Fame. He was actually one of the only players and managers to have 2,000 hits as well as managed in 2,000 games. The way he did found Animal Rescue Foundation is a stray cat happened to actually run onto the field during the middle of the game. Tony La Russa took it upon himself to pick up the cat, bring him to the dugout, and at the end of the game he tried to take it to a shelter. It was at that point he realized that there was no-kill shelters in the area where his team was, which at the time was Oakland A's. So that's when he decided to come up with a no-kill facility. And again, it's Animal Rescue Foundation. Now, what separates them from other shelters and other rescue foundations is the fact that they will not bring in any other animals to care for until the animals in their shelters have been found a family. So basically, this gets rid of the overcrowding and the need for euthanization. Now, Animal Rescue Foundation, unfortunately, as I said before, will not push animals out. So a lot of times they are filled to the max and can't take in different animals that have been called to be helped. They actually receive over 100 calls a day for animals that they cannot help. However, what separates them from other facilities is that instead of shunning the people away or just telling them that they're overcrowded, they'll actually help that person calling in by providing them with a number to other facilities to make sure that that animal does have a chance to be adopted or at least taken care of. Now, when I originally started this project, I originally just wanted, as everyone else in here, to get a good grade. However, after doing a little research and seeing what these animals go through, and the high population of animals that unfortunately do have to be put down, I think that it definitely touched me to the point where I think I myself would get involved with Animal Rescue Foundation. Now let me leave you with this last thought. They say a dog is a man's best friend. Well, if your best friend is in trouble, what would you do?